Hello, everyone. My name is Teacher Tahric. I am a teacher at 18K American Language School. I've been there for a while. And welcome to this would be a grade 3 reading comprehension class. I'm going to start off with talking about farms and life on farms or things on farms. And then we will move on to in the sky, talking about things in the sky like clouds and planets and a little bit of space. Okay, so let's get started. It says, have you ever been on a farm? Have you ever been on a farm? And what do you see on this farm? On this farm, I see a tractor. I see a farmhouse. I see cows. I see chickens. I see pigs. She looks like she's a farmer. He looks like he's a farmer. And let's look at some of the words. Some of these words kind of simple. Hopefully, most of you guys know these words already. I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen. Instead, make it a little bit easier for me to navigate. Got a lot to show you, a lot of different windows to show you. So the picture that we're looking at here, life on a farm, yeah, these are just things that we have on a farm. We can write down some of this vocabulary. What are some of the things that we have on a farm? First one is barn. Barn is pretty simple. A barn is a house to keep animals in or shelter for animals. I'll call it a house. It's a little bit easier to remember. Chickens. Oh, I'm not even going to write down chickens. Cows. Farmer. Farmer. You should know that already, but I'll write that down. Farmer would be somebody who works on a farm. Farmhouse is for the people who live on the farm. Live on a farm. Field. The field is should be a big, somewhat flat, grassy area. That's where the animals walk around. That's where the cows will eat their grass. So the field is usually a big grassy area. And a tractor. A tractor is a vehicle or a car especially made for farm work. In the picture that we just saw, you saw the farmer riding on a tractor. It's like a little car made for farm work. So there's your tractor right there. He is riding on a tractor doing that farm work. Let's move on. So what are some of the things that people do on farms? And the main thing that we use farms for is to get our food. Farm is our #1 source of food. So farms are very important for all of us as it is our source of food. Most of us don't grow our own food. If you do, that's cool, but for the most part, people don't grow their food. So another couple words that we have here, I see these highlighted words. We have crops. Hold on. I see crops. And what are crops? Does anybody know what crops are? Anybody? Crops are the fruits and vegetables or whatever it is that the farmer is growing. Crops are whatever you're growing. It could be strawberries, it could be corn, could be papayas. All of those are various crops for farmers. And harvest. Harvest is when you pick the crops. So this is when you would be taking your carrots out of the ground, your mangoes out of the tree, your corn off of the stalk. And let's read. What are they talking about here? What do farmers do? There are many jobs to do on a farm. Everyone in the family helps. Some farmers grow crops. Farmers grow fruits, vegetables, or grains by planting seeds. Farmers make sure their crops have plenty of water to help them grow. When the crops are ripe, the farmers harvest them to eat or sell. So that's pretty straightforward. We know that farmers will sell what it is that they're growing because we buy from grocery stores and grocery stores have to buy from farmers. It has to get from the farm somehow.
My name is Anthony Owens. I've been in Jai now about 5.5, almost 6 years. We've just recently moved to this new location. We started here on January 1st, building and taking everything down. We just recently, about a month and a half now, got the veggies up and running. Previously, we were in cooperation with the community college. Great thing here is we live in a community where there's lots of locals. They come in, they harvest the vegetables, they see what we're doing, they introduce more people, they bring their kids, and this helps introduce to the kids where their food is coming from. It's a really incredible process to see them see this new way of farming. It's probably going to be the future of farming. It's sustainable, it's environmentally friendly, it's chemical free. The modern farmer and all farmers, they really have a hard life and kind of understated, but the stuff they've been taught to use, the chemicals in this, and we need to stop that. We need to clean the earth, we need to clean the soils. This kind of farming is the way to go. We save over 90% of the water. We have 30 to
Wow.
60% increased production times, and it's all natural. And people can be a part of it. You can do it in your homes, on your rooftops, in your kitchen. It's great. We decided to bring bees here because we thought, even I'm allergic to
Bees.
bees. People need to know bees are important. Bees produce such a massive amount of our fruits and vegetables. And with all the chemicals we're doing, they're dying. Um, People are scared of them. They don't understand them. So by bringing bees here and having education here, we can influence the people about what the importance of the bees are and why we need to have them, why we need to protect them.
Here is a bee egg as it hatches into a larva. Those newly hatched larvae swim around their cells, feeding on a liquid food that nurse bees secrete for them. Then their head and their legs start to differentiate as they transform into pupae. Here's that same pupation process seen from above with varroa mites running around in the cells. Next, the tissue reorganizes in their body and the pigment slowly develops in their eyes. In the last step, their skin shrivels up and they sprout hair.
My family and me, my wife and my son. My son is 7 years old, just turned 7. My wife is Taiwanese. She's from a local city called Baihe. We live in Chiayi City, which is great for families. Her mom's retired, and we thought, we can make this a real family thing. So her mother helps us seed the stuff, and My wife delivers and contacts customers and works at the farm, and my son's out here enjoying nature the way it should be. I think for the next 6 months to a year, really secure this area up, really start to spread our name, get people involved. We always welcome people to come anytime. You can always contact us through our Facebook at Formosa Greens. Our Chinese name is Le Fei, and we welcome anyone to check us out, to come down and see. You got to be careful. I'll feed you raw vegetables.
So farmers raise animals. They make sure their animals have plenty of food and water to help them grow. Some farm animals can live outdoors. Other animals need a shelter, such as a barn or a pen. Farmers work hard to keep shelters clean. Yes, that's hard work to keep that shelter clean. So here we have Pig Farmer, and she is feeding her pigs. And what's this guy doing down here? It looks like some kind of cow or horse stall or whichever animal stall. He's raking out the hay that they use for the bedding in the stall. Why are farms important? So this is pretty obvious. We all know farms are important because if that's where we get our food, that makes them pretty important, right? The fruits and vegetables people eat are grown on farms. The bread and cereal people eat come from grains that are grown on farms. The milk people drink comes from cows that are raised on farms. Most of the meat people eat comes from cattle, turkeys, chickens, and pigs that are raised on farms. Does anybody know what that word cattle means? Cattle, anybody? So the word cattle means cows. Cows as like the collective. Like cows as like how you call a person people altogether, they're people. Cows, you could call them cows, but the group of all of them is just cattle. So you're in the business of raising cattle. That means raising cows. All of those things are raised on farms. Mushrooms also raised on farms. Let's see the journey of an egg. Hold on. Let me share this properly. I really like this stuff about how my food gets to me because I think it's a good thing to know where your food comes from. If you're eating it and your body is actually made out of food, it's good to know where it comes from. Where am I? Journey of an egg.
My name is Margaret Hudson. Burnbrae Farms is owned by my family and is a fourth-generation Canadian business. Let me take you on the journey that an egg makes from the farm to your table.
Let's go.
So all across Canada, there are many egg producers, and will leave facilities like ours and pick up the eggs at the local egg producer and bring them back to be graded. So the ungraded eggs are kept in our cooler. We have a ticket that identifies each producer and the skid of eggs affiliated with each producer. And the ticket will identify if they're just regular eggs or omega-3 eggs or free-run eggs and keep them separate. And then the ungraded eggs will move into our grading room to be graded for the supermarkets. Then the eggs are taken using suction cups from the cases and loaded onto the conveyor belt, where they go through the washer. Each egg is thoroughly washed and then dried, and then they move on to the candling booth. The eggs are candled for imperfections, like dirty shells or cracks. The eggs with imperfections will go down a separate line, and only the grade A eggs will make it to the local grocery store. Eggs are graded by weight, and every egg is weighed. Large eggs will go down a separate line from medium eggs and from extra large or jumbo eggs. So we're able to separate the eggs
So she's saying all the eggs are weighed.
Eggs out using our computer system. The eggs
Computer.
come down the line and they're deposited into the different cartons. Then the cartons are code dated with a code that enables us to trace back the egg to the producer. Then the carton is closed and it comes up the line, and one of the operators will put the eggs onto a cart or into a returnable basket or into a fiber box. The eggs travel down the line. An operator will take the case off and put it on a skid, and the eggs weighed in a cooler to be assembled for each individual grocery store's order. From there, the eggs are shipped on a truck and delivered to the grocery store. On average, the eggs that you find in the grocery store are no more than a week old. Thank you for joining us on this journey. I hope you've learned more about nature's most perfect food.
So the eggs, well, at least in this case, she said the eggs that are in your grocery store are no more than a week old. So they're getting from the farm to the table or to your house pretty quickly. So that was interesting talking about the eggs. They make a long journey. They go through a lot of measurement. Eggs seem they need to be perfect to be sold. It seems easy to reject a non-perfect egg. Now there are some other things that come from farms. Many other things people need are grown on farms. Cotton is a plant. Farmers grow cotton and sell it. People use cotton to make cloth. The shirt I'm wearing is made out of cotton. It comes from a farm. Farmers raise sheep for their wool. They cut off the sheep's wool and sell it. People use wool to make cloth. Make a list of things you ate or used today that came from farms. So let me see. If I was to make a list of the things that I used today that came from farms. For breakfast, I think I had eggs. What else came from a farm? I wore clothes. So, clothes. My clothes came from a farm. What else did I do that came from a farm? I ate nuts. Those came from a farm. I ate fruit. Those came from a farm. I'm trying to think. Water didn't come from a farm. Basically, all my food came from the farm. Um, my TV is standing on a wooden table. The wood that this computer is sitting on came from a farm. Hmm. The paper that I wrote on today came from a farm. Anything else? What else? Anything else that comes from a farm? I can't think of anything else that comes from a farm. Right now, wheat is an important grain. People eat breads, cereals, and many other foods made from wheat every day. Farmers in Kansas grow a lot of wheat. Kansas has cold winters and warm summers. The weather is good for raising wheat. You guys know what wheat is? Wheat is a kind of flour. It's a kind of grass. It's a type of grass. People eat the seeds. So it's used in things like bread, flour. Bread is the most. Bread, noodles, both made out of wheat. Now, just in case we don't recognize some of these words, let me just go over them to make sure. So a barn, I believe most know what a barn is. The barn is this house right here. Some animals would stay in that barn. There's a barn here next to some silos. So that is one of the structures on a farm. Anyways, Farmer is the person. Farmhouse would be just the house on the farm. They're usually not very big. They could be big, but not always. Farmhouse, not barn big. Farmhouse. So here are some farmhouses. This looks more like farmhouse style. I'm not sure if these are really. Let me see. Farmhouse on farm. Farmhouse on land. There we go. So there we go. These are some farmhouses. That's a nice looking one. They often look like this. There's an old farmhouse, broken down farmhouse. Back to this. After farmhouse, field is easy. Tractor, we know. Crops are the things you're growing, and harvest is when you're picking the crops. Wheat. Wheat. Wheat is just this. Wheat is just this. Wheat. I'll give you that. So things I used from a farm. From a farm today. Wheat is an important grain. People eat breads, cereals, and many other foods made from wheat every day. Farmers in Kansas grow a lot of wheat. Kansas has cold summers and warm summers. This weather is good for raising wheat. I had a video about, do I still have that one, about the pineapples. I just want to show one more. Or do you want carrots? I think I like pineapples. Pineapples. I like the pineapple one. Sorry, carrots. Sorry, carrots, but I'm gonna go with pineapple today. Carrots, pineapple. What do you guys think? Carrots? Who says carrots? Who says pineapple? Oh, pineapple wins. Pineapple wins.
At this farm in Costa Rica, pineapples are planted all year round. The farmer's first job is to prepare the soil. The pineapples don't like too much water, so raised beds are made, meaning that any extra rain can flow away and won't damage the plant. Next, the best seed plants from last year's crop are loaded onto trucks and scattered along the raised beds. Each one will have 2 rows of pineapples planted in it. Each pineapple is planted by hand, with equal space between them. It's important for the plants to develop at the same rate, so they all get the same amount of nutrients and sunlight, enabling them to grow to be roughly the same size. On this farm, around 75 million pineapples are grown every year. It takes 8 months of growing before the plants are ready for the next stage. The farmer drives his tractor through the fields, and using a special machine called a crop sprayer, sprays each plant with a substance called ethaphon. Ethaphon lets the plant know it's time to start developing the fruit. This process is called induction. The pineapple fruit will now begin to form, and 5 weeks after induction, it looks like this. Over the next 15 weeks, it will develop into a fully grown pineapple. It takes an amazing 12 months from when the pineapple is planted to when it is ready to be harvested. At this farm in Costa Rica, most of the pineapples are picked by hand because using machines could bruise or damage the fruit. Each fruit is picked and placed on a conveyor belt, and then placed in a large bin. From the field, the pineapples are taken by truck to a nearby packing station. A sample of the fruit is inspected to make sure the pineapples are as tasty as they should be. They can tell how sweet the fruit is by looking at a sample of the juice through an apparatus called a refractometer. Next, they are taken to the washing area. The bins are then dipped into water to wash the fruit, removing any dust that might be on the surface. The fruit in the tank floats to the top, where it is pushed by water pressure towards a conveyor belt. Next, any pineapples which are not of the right size or quality are removed. They are taken away to be turned into juice or other pineapple products. The pineapples that are the perfect size and shape are packed into boxes according to size. They are then ready for their long journey to the UK. The ship travels from Limon in Costa Rica to Portsmouth in the UK. Once the ship arrives into port, the crates of pineapples are unloaded. Then they are moved to a cold storage area, where they are ready to be quality checked before being sent to your local store.
Look at the sky in the day. What color is it? Can you see the clouds? When it's sunny, the sky is blue. Clouds are white or gray. Sometimes you could see the birds in planes. They fly in the sky. So I know this reading is a little bit easy for you grade threes. It's okay. Some of these ideas will be a little bit difficult. Sometimes when it's sunny and rainy, you can see a rainbow in the sky. How many colors can you see? How many colors are in the rainbow? I think it's 7. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, pink. Is that? I remember this from a song, but I don't know if those are the colors that are actually in the rainbow. Let's see. How many colors are in a rainbow? Does anybody want to guess? How many colors in a rainbow? 7. Yes. Oh, red, orange. Do I have it wrong? Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. So, not greenish blue at all. Indigo is purple. Wait a minute. Indigo versus violet. So here are the purples. Indigo. Oh, so they also call it violet. Interesting. Indigo and violet together. So there's no difference. Confused. The spacecraft goes up into the sky. Then it goes into space. Space is dark and very big. I'm going to throw you some softball questions after this, so be ready for that. The next unit. At night. At night in the sky, at night the sky is dark. You can see the moon. The moon is a big ball of rock. Sometimes you can see a round moon. This is called a full moon. Sometimes you see different shapes. A thin moon is called a crescent moon. That shape is actually called a crescent. So a crescent is shaped like a moon almost. A crescent is shaped like a partial moon crescent. So that shape right there, that's called a crescent. So a crescent is basically that moon shape that you see. You see crescents everywhere. Crescent is like what represents the moon. If you see a circle you're not usually going to think of the moon, even though the moon is a big circle, but this shape represents the moon a little bit more. You can see stars at night too. Stars are big hot balls of fire. They look very little because they are far out in space. Sometimes you can see planets too. Moment, I have a video on space for you. Prickly pineapples, it wasn't that one. Oh, this is from the last one I didn't show you. So let's look at this one. Let's look at our solar system. National Geographic, they make pretty good videos.
Our solar system is one of over 500 known solar systems in the entire Milky Way galaxy. The solar system came into being about 4.5 billion years ago when a cloud of interstellar gas and dust collapsed, resulting in a solar nebula, a swirling disk of material that collided to form the solar system. The solar system is located in the Milky Way's Orion star cluster. Only 15% of stars in the galaxy host planetary systems, and one of those stars is our own Sun. Revolving around the Sun are 8 planets. The planets are divided into 2 categories based on their composition, terrestrial and Jovian. Terrestrial planets, including Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars, are primarily made of rocky material. Their surfaces are solid, they don't have ring systems, they have very few or no moons, and they are relatively small. The smallest and closest to the Sun is Mercury, which has the shortest orbit in the solar system at about 3 Earth months. Venus is the hottest planet, with temperatures of up to 867 degrees Fahrenheit due to an atmosphere of carbon dioxide and extensive lava flows. Next to this world of fire is a world of water, Earth. The water systems on this planet help create the only known environment in the universe capable of sustaining life. The last of the terrestrial planets, Mars, might have also supported life about 3.7 billion years ago when the planet had a watery surface and moist atmosphere. Beyond the 4 terrestrial planets of the inner solar system lie the Jovian planets of the outer solar system. The Jovian planets include gas giants Jupiter and Saturn and ice giants Uranus and Neptune. The gas giants are predominantly made of helium and hydrogen, and the ice giants also contain rock, ice, and a liquid mixture of water, methane, and ammonia. All 4 Jovian planets have multiple moons, sport ring systems, have no solid surface, and are immense. The largest Jovian is also the largest planet in the solar system, Jupiter. Nearby is Saturn, the solar system's second largest planet. Its signature rings are wide enough to fit between Earth and the Moon, but are barely a kilometer thick. Past Saturn are the ice giants Uranus and Neptune. The slightly bigger of these ice giants, Uranus, is famous for rotating on its side. Next to Uranus is Neptune, the outermost planet in the solar system and also one of the coldest. Orbiting the terrestrial planets is the asteroid belt, a flat disk of rocky objects full of remnants from the solar system's formation, from microscopic dust particles to the largest known object, the dwarf planet Ceres. Another disk of space debris lies much further out and orbits the Jovian planets, the icy Kuiper belt. Apart from asteroids, the Kuiper belt is also home to dwarf planets such as Pluto and is the birthplace of many comets. Beyond the Kuiper belt is the Oort cloud, a vast spherical collection of icy debris. It is considered the edge of the solar system since that is where the gravitational and physical influences of the Sun end. Our solar system's particular configuration of planets and other celestial objects, all revolving around a life-giving star, make it a special place to call home.
So our solar system is special, she's saying. I guess so. It feels special. It feels special to me. I live here. Let's get back to Full screen. Some of the words we just went over about from this story in the sky. So crescent. Crescent is that shape, like that moon shape that you think of is actually the crescent shape. Terrestrial means of the ground. So like say a terrestrial animal lives on the ground. They don't live in the ocean. They live on the ground. So terrestrial planets are like planet Earth. They have a hard surface. Orbit is the way that things go around other things in space. The moon orbits our planet Earth, and we orbit the sun. The sun and this entire solar system orbits a galaxy, and yeah, space has many things moving around other things. Jovian planets are the four planets on the outside of the terrestrial planets. The Jovian planets, they're made of gas. They don't have a solid surface. There's not a place you can stand on them. Asteroids are flying rocks through space. They create a belt. They kind of gather together, but there are also asteroids that are flying through space without being part of a belt. Let's move on to the sun. Did you know the sun is a star? It's our star. We live on a planet called Earth. Earth goes around the sun. The sun shines in the sky. It gives our planet light. Don't look at the sun, it isn't good for your eyes. The sun is very, very hot. It makes our planet warm, so we can live here. We get electricity from the sun. It shines on solar panels. This makes electricity. So this word solar. Solar is anything about the sun. From or about the sun. So anything that has solar in front of it, like solar power, solar car, solar something, solar rays, it means that it's about the sun. It's coming from the sun. Solar means sun. When we're talking about solar things, we're talking about the sun. Solar power, this is getting power from the sun. Getting electricity from the sun. Plants need solar power from the sun. Now, I've got one more video I want to see about how big the sun is, because the scale of things in space, the size of things in space, it's ridiculous. It's hard to comprehend how big or how different things are in size in space, or how far away things are, without comparing it to something we know.
The sun and the moon are about the same size when you look at them in the sky, though that's just thanks to the coincidence that the sun is about 400 times farther away than the moon, and also about 400 times bigger. Another fun coincidence is that the radius of the sun is about twice the distance to the moon, so if you put the sun where the Earth is, the moon would be just over halfway to the surface of the sun. The sun is also so big that it takes light over 4.5 seconds to travel across its face, though I don't know whether that says more about how big the sun is, or how slow light is, or both. But what about the scale of other solar system objects? Well, here are Pluto and Charon compared to the Earth and the Moon, and Jupiter, which, as a rough rule of thumb, has about 10 times the radius of the Earth and 1/10 the radius of the Sun. Saturn is slightly smaller than Jupiter, though its rings go out twice as far. Still only a third of the way to the moon, though. Mars's moons are very close and very small, which gives rise to another moon-sized coincidence. Phobos is almost the same size in the Martian sky as the sun, and can cause annular eclipses, just like our moon here on Earth. If two objects have the same apparent size in the sky, like the moon and
That started out pretty simple, and then it got very complex about the size of the sun. But like I said, it's good to know how big things are. Let's take a look at something else. So I'm going to take a look at some questions about this exact book we're reading. So sky, easy. What do we got here? Quickly, let's see. What do we got here? What do we got here, guys? This is a spacecraft. Any vehicle that goes to space, that can fly into space, is a spacecraft. Let me write that one down. Cloud, that's easy. Stop it. Stop doing that. Cloud is easy. Plane is easy. I'm not even rainbow. Forget it. Let's just move on. Spacecraft goes up into the sky, then it goes into space. So space is a place that is outside of the sky. If you're talking about the sky, you are not talking about space. Space. So the sky is here. The sky is close to Earth. Space is something different. And space is dark and very big. We don't even know how big space is or how far it goes. We just know what we know about space. Sometimes when it is sunny and rainy, you can see a rainbow. I love to see a rainbow. Let's move on from that. Let's unscramble these. A fat, actually, you know what, they are easy, but let's still do these. True and false questions. I'm going to write this with, should I try writing with a pen? Let's see what it looks like. True or false question. At night, you can see the moon. Of course. The moon is a big ball of fire. No, the sun is a big ball of fire. So the moon is a big ball of what? Big ball of rock. A round moon is called a full moon. That is true. A fat moon is called a crescent moon. Now this is a crescent moon, so a crescent moon is not fat. The crescent moon is skinny. The fat moon would be the full moon. RAST. Stars. Ugh. This is terrible. A R. Okay. The next one after stars is what are those? Oh, that's easy. That's just rock. And fire. Why is fire here? We weren't even talking about fire. And fire. Back up to the top, the sun. Circle the correct words. The sun is a planet. Is the sun a planet? No, the sun is a star. We live on a planet called we live on a planet called eyes. No, we live on a planet called Earth. Earth goes around the Earth goes around the sun, not around the moon. The moon goes around us. The sun is very, very hot. Too easy. And don't look at the sun. Or look at the sun. But I say don't look at the sun. Let's go back to this tab and let's go over some of these words. So the words that we are looking at today, crescent. Crescent is that shape that I mentioned earlier. Crescent. Crescent is just that shape that we associate with the moon. That is a crescent. That is a crescent. And then after crescent, the next word that we have is terrestrial. Terrestrial is things that are hard, things that are associated with the ground. Like a terrestrial animal, terrestrial plants, they live in the ground. Terrestrial animals, they all walk around on land. The lion is a terrestrial animal. Humans are also terrestrial animals. Orbit. Orbit is when something travels around something else, like we orbit the sun. So you can see these are all the planet orbits that are being highlighted there. Orbits are a circle or oval in shape or egg shape, but always kind of circular. And after orbit, you have the Jovian planets. The Jovian planets. So we have the terrestrial planets. And those are our planets, these 4 planets here. So Mars, Earth, Venus, and Mercury. And then on the outside planets, you have the Jovian planets. The Jovian planets are the gas planets, the planets on the outside of the solar system. Less dense. Asteroids are the rocks that are flying through space. So they look just like rocks. Is there a depiction of the asteroid belt? So these are rocks moving very fast through space, very quickly through space. The next thing is solar. So solar, last word, everything about the sun is solar. Solar energy, solar system, solar energy comes up the most. So this is power from the sun. It's pretty cool. But that will be that for today. Thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this class, or I hope you enjoyed the session. Obviously, things are different in person when you can interact with a student. It's always better. But like I said, I hope you enjoyed it. Have a good day.